You know what movie I didn't know? And what movie I could have frankly gone my whole life without knowing?
Yeah, I can take a guess.
She-Borg.
She-Borg.
I could have gone my whole beginning to end, my whole life without ever knowing about it.
Well,
I don't think it would have been any less happy.
all right, I'm just gonna start.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So, I'm gonna start my very initial thoughts about She-Borg.
Shouldn't we do an intro thing?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do an intro.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Nondescript video audio podcast. This is episode 3. This is the third episode. This week we're talking about a movie that we rolled called She-Borg, which is an independent Australian film. It was... Well, I won't get into describing it. We'll go through the plot as best as we can. I think it'll be a team effort for sure.
Yeah, because unlike previous movies, there isn't that much documentation on this one, like there was for
really small scale, much lower budget. Last week we watched Reign of Fire, which is obviously like massive budget movie, names like Christian Bale and genuine 3D, effects and stuff.
3D effects in it.
Yeah. Well, we'll get into that, but
I wish I knew who was talking right now, so I could
yeah, let's
visualize.
go ahead and get into the introductions. We'll start here and then.
I'm Ben, She-Borg apologist.
Oh, I didn't even see you laying on the floor. I'm Peter.
I'm Cade, She-Borg priestess.
And I'm Luke. I'm actually gonna put your levels up a bit here.
Yeah, I noticed.
But go ahead, Ben.
A little
get into
quiet
it if you don't mind.
Well, yeah. So, I don't want to sound like a hater, because look, I love it, like indie film. I'm all about,
You can describe our background with film as a group if you want.
Right. Yeah. So we're well acquainted, I think, with the process of making films for absolutely actually no money. You don't really have any.
Ben, I saw the
special
GoFundMe.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, regardless, we're used to making films for maybe max $1,000 to $2,000.
Yeah, a few $1,000s.
Which I'm sure I actually believe they spent more money on She-Borg, but
Definitely, they had to have.
They had to.
but and so with that in mind, I do appreciate the attempt that was made and their commitment to certain parts of things within this film, and I think that definitely had things that I laughed at. Maybe not for the reasons that they had rolling in pre-production, but I think there was. I just want to preface this with I think there was some things I enjoyed watching about this film, at least in a group context.
Ben, you say they weren't meant to be laughed at, and I was telling you after we finished the film while we were letting Kate in the house, and it was just me and you having our alone time down here. I have a conspiracy theory. And I always think it's a conspiracy. This is its own subgenre of so shitty horror movie that it's enjoyable to watch. I think this was purposely made shitty, I feel like.
Okay, yeah, so I was going to touch on that. I think it's really very sweet of Ben to kind of preface this whole thing with the positives, and because we definitely all understand precisely what it means to take $0 and very little experience and try to string together a story that's interesting or fun or at least watchable, and it is really fucking hard. We all completely understand that, but I think and it's very sweet that he wants to bring that up, and I agree with him completely. But I think it's just important to say that because there's going to be a lot of negativity.
Yes,
I think we're gonna be spending the next hour mostly taking a big dump.
we're
on
gonna
I
it.
don't
take it-
know.
we're-
I don't.
All right,
maybe-
Pete might disagree. Speaking personally, I'm going to spend the next hour taking a fat donkey shit on this movie, and I don't do that to discourage the creators of this movie.
Let's just say Ben
Because I'm
watching.
sure
No.
they're
I
I'm
really-
sure they're listening to this
nothing against
podcast.
them.
but-
You know,
No,
that's what I'm saying. They
nothing
probably
against
are
them.
going to because like who the fuck is posting She-Borg content?
Well, exactly.
Nothing against them, but I really would like to discourage them. I hope they never make another
So,
movie.
okay, Kate, before you
No,
get
nothing
here,
against them,
we
but
were
quit.
looking at
Quit
stuff
now.
on.
Stop. Well, you're not ahead.
Yeah.
What?
So we were looking at stuff on Amazon, and we came across this other film. We'll get to it. It'll probably be next week's film. I'm the only one standing up for it. But there was like a famous actress in this one movie, and so I was like, oh, I'm gonna look at the She-Borg cast, and I was looking through, and I clicked on the director. He did a movie last year,
Really?
He's still
He's done a
doing
couple movies.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright,
he's
he's
done
still
like,
around.
he's done,
and you know
he's
his
done like
newest
4
movie
movies.
had a 7 on IMDb.
And I will say, all
Out
of
of
his movies
10, so-
have pretty cool posters. I think they all like.
Yeah, they're
She-Borg.
good.
She-Borg, yeah,
I didn't
has a
see the
fucking
poster.
insane
It does have a
poster.
pretty cool poster.
I didn't
Um,
see the poster do it.
And all right, so I think we should I think before we get too much into like what we liked and didn't like, I think we should try and struggle through describing the plot because
So what's the summer or the summary thing?
So it begins on our two main female characters. They're punk anarchists, and they're spray painting a cop car.
Yeah, their names are Denny and Steven.
They're two girls. Their names are Eddie and Dylan,
Yeah, Eddie and Dylan. Yeah.
and they get chased in a literal like live action Scooby-Doo chase by these two cops, because they're little Australian delinquents. They get caught by the police after. This is also where the opening credit scenes happens, and those don't look great. It sets the bar pretty quick.
Also, we didn't mention at the beginning, but I'm sure you can guess by the title. But yeah, She-Borg is a action-adventure sci-fi directed by Daniel Armstrong. It was made in 2016. This is a really
actually it's
Pretty recent.
2013. It was released on
yeah,
Amazon.
It is older than
It was
that,
released
yeah.
on Amazon 2016.
Okay.
This guy has some
sorry.
pedigree to him.
Okay, that
It
makes
doesn't look
a
good
little
for
more
2000.
sense.
It doesn't look good for 2013.
It doesn't look
either.
good for either year. Yeah.
That's only 3 years apart. So.
Yeah. And then they get arrested, taken to City Hall, and it's revealed that one of them, I think Dylan's father, is the mayor.
And the way they reveal it.
Whatever town they're in. The town they're in is not important. Meanwhile, in outer space, She-Borg, who is a female cyborg.
She's actually part woman, part machine.
She's
Total
part
destruction.
Yeah, part woman,
So.
part Borg. And she is taken before like this empress, this
like
space
the
empress.
the Space Council. Yeah,
I couldn't be fucked to give a single shit about this whole thing that was
it's
happening.
important.
Really
It's so
didn't bring it-
important.
Like,
They didn't
it's-
bring it back at all.
Yeah, yes.
well, the
okay,
Empress
so
came back, but
I'll
what are
tell you
posi-
why this is relevant. It's so important. So the Empress sentences She-Borg to death, and then her two guards they start vomiting all over She-Borg, and because their vomit is like
Acid.
and then but She-Borg she doesn't care. She shrugs it off. She kills all three of them, but she's like really fucked up and wounded by this green acid. The green acid from the inside of their like she punches them and their blood is green goop, but also their like spit and vomit is also green goop.
Yeah, they're just
They're-
big sacks of
They're
green
filled to the
cum.
brim. If you like poke them, they're
Yeah,
squishy. They're
they're
just
Yeah,
like
imagine
bust.
like Mountain Dew mixed with like flour.
Yeah, it's like Mountain Dew mixed with like chicken noodle soup.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chunky
It's like
stuff.
green and it has chunks in it. It was actually really gross. And the way they were like spitting it out in chunks, I was like, oh, like what
and
does that
they
taste
just
like?
they were on it for a long time.
Yeah,
too.
it
Yep.
was so
wasn't
much
like
slime.
It
it was
keeps
like
coming
wow,
back.
it's like that's been going for at least 10 seconds. Like they must stop soon.
Yes.
And they went for like another 10 seconds.
So it's established right away that She-Borg is vulnerable to this green goop, and then she and the Empress go each launch on escape pods, and they wind up crashing to Earth in the middle of a random like thicket.
This is like Frank Herbert Dune level of lore here.
Yeah.
yeah.
So actually, that where they do you remember where they crash land?
Yeah, so that the She-Borg, the She-Borg Express or whatever lands in a puppy farm. No, it's puppy farm, right? Yeah.
Yes, it's
lands in a
called a
puppy
puppy
farm.
farm. Explain to me what a puppy farm is.
Well, it's I mean, they actually never like showed it in operation. Really, it was really just a farm with puppies instead of like cattle. And
Throughout the whole film, you guys were going like, "What's a puppy farm?" And it's not exist. Those exist.
what
It's
what
a
do they
puppy.
do?
It's a
What is
puppy
that?
mill.
well,
A
But
puppy
it's not
mill?
called a farm.
Yeah,
They
you never
grind up the puppies?
No, it's where you like breed puppies and stuff.
yeah, but it's called like a puppy mill though.
Yeah, where does this
It's a
take place?
breeder.
I know, but
It's
it's
probably
not
just
like-
what they call it there.
yeah,
Is
I
it
guess
like
like so it's filmed in like
Aussies.
Australia or
You
something.
guys
by
are
the
weird,
way.
man.
I just.
But I
what
think they
is
just call it puppy
The
farms.
pound. I don't know.
Well, regardless, they end up at a puppy farm, which is essentially like a
Where
bunch of
they
like
make puppy.
You know, it
meat.
kind of reminds me of.
Wire
Did you guys ever
fences
watch the Three
and
Stooges
dogs.
movie that came out like?
The one from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. Yeah.
What
I
is the
remember-
Three Stooges?
You don't know what the Three Stooges are? Dude, come on.
I remember.
You know the biggest Three Stooges fan.
No, what is that?
Mr. Fun?
No, what's the Three Stooges?
I
um
don't
Do you actually not know-
He's smiling at me. He knows what they are.
What
He's
is
a
it? No, I
fucking
don't know.
asshole.
Dude,
It's
You're-
like the
he's-
biggest comedy
Alright,
group.
alright.
I'm like,
We can move on.
I don't
I have
like-
no
I don't like
idea what the
this.
Three Stooges
All right.
yes,
are.
you do.
you're lying. You're lying.
they're exactly what they sound. They're Three Stooges.
Okay, is this
All right.
actually a bit? I need you to tell me.
Yeah, I do need you to tell me.
So She-Borg is a really crazy.
Okay,
movie.
it's a bit.
I was gonna say that there's a fish
Like a
farm in the
shitty
Three
bit.
Stooges.
Yeah,
movie.
there's a puppy mill where they turn puppies into Soylent and right. And
I
They
don't.
do. They like they do
Yeah.
like torture
Yeah.
them. That is
They
like
were
a plot
they were like
point.
actually harvesting their organs in
Yeah,
the movie.
at one
Like,
point they mentioned
before that one lady got turned into a She-Borg, there was like that random scene of her coming in and like inspecting these organs they harvested from a dog.
yeah, I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Okay,
So
but
weird.
we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So they crash landed at a puppy farm, and then our two female protagonists they wind up at the puppy farm because they
Well,
are,
hold on, we are skipping some parts.
Oh my god,
At-
already.
So the first major, this is a movie that's all about, big sci-fi connections and references and references
right.
to classic media. And so the first, major connection is when the She-Borg pod lands, someone sees it from their, classic girl nerd sees it from her like balcony.
Yep, she's got
and-
like a hair like
Yep,
bowl cut kind of.
She looks very much like a character from Scooby-Doo, but with purple hair,
do I
sometimes
care?
blue, depending on how they did the color grading. But
yeah.
what better to name her than Velma?
Yeah, okay.
She actually just Velma.
She looks like Velma. She has Velma's exact haircut. She has big nerd glasses, and she's a big nerd.
She's just
and
Velma.
She just is
when they
Velma.
introduce her into the movie, I'm like, oh look, it's Velma.
No, I'm surprised they didn't do the
And
glasses.
then they
guy.
say her name, and it's Velma.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna do it too.
They did not do the glasses
No,
bit. She did
which
not
is
say
unfortunate.
Jinkies.
Before we kind of glossed over this too. I want to know, Kay, did you watch this with subtitles?
Yes, I did because
How
it
were
was
the
so hard.
How was reading the subtitles?
Did you watch it
Uh,
on Amazon?
I watched it on Tubi.
Oh, maybe they were
Oh,
Free
better.
on
okay.
Tubi.
Oh,
On
yeah.
Amazon, these subtitles were insane. They made
Why?
no fucking sense.
Okay, on Tubi they were fine.
It would be like the middle of them talking. It'll be like, "Hey Velma, we need to go," mumbling.
Yeah, so genuinely,
That's why
the
they cut the
person
subtitles,
making
like,
the
mumbling.
subtitles for the movie, they must have been like paid like nothing for this. But as soon as they like kind of couldn't understand what someone was saying, They literally just stopped doing the subtitles and put mumbling.
Dude, on the Tubi one, they did sort of the same thing, but they would do parentheses speaking foreign language.
They did that.
So-
a couple
Okay,
times,
they
too.
might
Yeah.
have the
When like they
They
would
did
speak
that
that
as
one
well.
too.
Yeah, anytime it was like
No.
I'm pretty sure what was the last line in the movie? It was like an
Oh,
alien saying something.
Oh
It looked-
yeah.
It just
this is
the subtitle said like inaudible or
Yeah.
something.
That's exactly what it was. Yeah, on Amazon it was like garbling, mumbling.
Yeah. This is certainly the lowest budget and worst movie we reviewed so far, I think.
Pete seems to be in disagreement.
Yes.
I think it's probably one of
I
the
would
worst
say that
movies
it
I've
is.
ever seen.
Okay, but so anyways, we have a lot ahead of us in terms of getting through the synopsis of this movie. So after we're at the puppy farm, and after that we kind of see the first thing where She-Borg is like, I need to like harvest your organs, and she has this like tube that comes out of like her basically her tongue is like this stomach pump thing that like goes into your throat and just disgustingly like just sucks everything out of you, and so this movie is huge on practical effects, which I do give them credit for. I think
Yeah,
a lot of
it. It was grotesque,
it was-
but like it was cooler than CGI.
it was, between the spaceship scene and this first puppy farm scene, we kind of get a good sense of like, oh yeah, this movie is like it's trying to go all out with the practical effects as much as they can, and there's definitely things
They're committed. 100% committed.
Yeah, no, I do respect the absolute commitment to just making this outrageous.
Because it must have been tons of money, tons of work. It looks terrible.
Yeah,
It
and
really-
a lot. I don't know. It looks like they shot it on an iPhone. I'm just like maybe it wasn't. I
There
don't
is
know.
one
Maybe
point in
it
the
was-
movie where you can see
It had to be an iPhone.
hand,
and it looks like an
and you
iPhone.
and it looks kind of like
it's like a rectangle.
yeah.
I don't know.
It's but
Also, they shot it in like 60p or like 60 frames per second. Did you notice that? I don't know. It just there was like at the beginning, especially, I was like, "Holy shit, this looks so jittery." It might have just been just really bad stabilization on the camera that like
yeah.
tricked my eye into
Yeah.
thinking it was shot.
Well,
at a
also
higher
it
frame
was
rate.
a very like all the shots were very kind of like aggressively handheld at times,
Yeah.
and on a lot of like phones especially, and any camera that has like a lot of lower end cameras, they have like rolling shutter or whatever. Or so if you have like a lot of movement in the shot, it kind of like it'll look jittery
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, so
Needless to say, it
She-Borg
looked
starts
terrible.
assimilating people. She is able. She instead of killing you, she takes your right eye and gives you Borg shit. Like she turns you into a cyborg. I think that is identical to the Borg in some Star Trek. Do they not also?
It was. I mean, they were pretty shameless in their, like the Velma was wearing
Yeah,
a
they went
a
in
Star
through the
Trek
penis.
t-shirt. They
A funny
kinda,
Star
I
Trek
think maybe
shirt
it
would
went a
have.
little overboard on the
And then they
Star
kinda
Trek
bashed
references. And you're
Star
you're hearing
Trek
that
at
from
the
a Star
end.
Trek fan right here,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of
True
weird.
Trek head.
Dude, I'm
Yeah.
a Trek head, and I thought it was a little much. I don't know.
So, but then all of our characters end up at the puppy farm. The two girls end up there because they're trying to free the puppies as like a protest. Velma ends up there because she sees the spaceships crashing, and then obviously She-Borg is there because she was on the ship. She kills the Empress that was following her, and the Empress leaves a big pile of green goop.
That's where it was at the end of the film.
Yeah, so which remains relevant. This pile of goop.
Remember where it was. Like
Yeah.
I forgot to
remember
look
the
it up.
coordinates of where it
Remember.
was.
So they all meet up there. She-Borg assimilates everyone that works at the dog farm. The Borg people start eating dogs, which they do with practical effects again. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, they look horrible.
They
The
look
dogs
really
do not
bad.
look remotely real.
They're like stuffed animals, and they're really just
Mhm.
like not afraid to show every angle of it.
So the girls bring with them this anarchist guy, whose name was
Rick.
Axe.
No, it was Rick without
Rick,
a K.
yeah.
It's just R-I-C.
Yeah, Rick. He tags along with them. He's a big coward. He's useless. And he is subjugated to the movie's first depiction of, I mean, do we want to say the
Yeah,
word?
I mean, so like I honestly when the
I might say
Amazon
I might
rating
just censor it.
when the Amazon rating came up and it was like this was rated 18 plus
I mean, a word.
for sexual content.
Word rape.
Oh, why do you have to blur that? It's part of the film. It's what happened.
Well, I
He got
know,
anal-
but
well,
like,
you could say it.
Some people
You
are
could say
sensitive
it like
to
the
the word.
true sci-fi fan. He got anally probed.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I knew there was gonna be a jump scare when it happened, and it was when they turn frame, cheeks out, probe up his butt.
I don't get why this movie was 18 plus. By the way,
I mean
that in my mind that was why.
I've seen
that's
way
like-
worse stuff in R-rated films.
there's that the rating thing is a company. They have they have their standards.
I mean,
that
yeah,
they-
like
in
you know,
Australia.
there's definitely depictions of rape in R-rated films. Well, anyway, the movie, it hard cuts to this guy who's been captured by the Borg getting just a big metal thing shoved up his ass, and the movie clearly thinks that it's very funny. Also, we haven't even mentioned that this movie has like a comedy edge to it, where it's very frequently telling jokes and stuff.
They're not funny.
there's
I feel like on set, like the director was like, "Boom, bazinga!"
yeah, they range from not funny to unfunny, and yeah, all of their attempts at comedy, I don't think there was a single genuine one that I enjoyed and thought was funny. Every time I was belly laughing, it felt entirely unintentional at some of the worst times.
Yeah. Well, so that does lead. I mean, at this point, this has happened. I mean, so that at the puppy farm, they're fighting these She-Borgs, and we start to see more of the times when they can't do special effects. They do have to rely on some, After Effects movie magic. And
it's so bad.
and so I mean, there's to be fair, honestly, genuinely, some of, like you said, some of the most belly laughing moments in this movie come from these like VFX things. To be honest, because there's just like anytime there's a hit in this, anytime like someone hits somebody in this movie. For one, it's like I don't know why there's like a cut, whatever.
Hard cut,
Yeah,
hard
it's so
cut.
funny.
Every punch, like every
It makes
slap.
It makes it look like people teleport.
Yeah, it's like when you get hit.
so
every
funny.
single hit, they wind up the punch, swing, cut, and then
I don't know if they're cutting or if they're just like speeding up the next like 3 frames by like 600%, so it looks
feels
like
a cut, and it looks
so
bad.
fun.
because I know that's a
part
thing
where
that I think
it's
people
like somebody gets hit by
hilarious
do
a
to
car.
in
You know what I'm
moderation.
talking
Oh
about?
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
There's a couple times where people get hit by a car. People get hit by a car. I think 3 or 4 times. Twice when they get hit, literally like the car's charging straight at them. They're standing in front of it. The very frame that the car touches them in, hard cut, the person vanishes.
Gone. They're gone, and there's just
They're
a dust
gone.
cloud.
It's genuinely like so funny.
Like, it is the strangest choice. It makes you think something horrible went wrong on set, or they just couldn't figure it out in the edit.
Some of the
Like, I don't know what
funniest
happened.
editing I've ever seen,
Yeah,
and not for a good reason at all.
It was a sight to behold. For
So they
sure.
try to be funny, and it's just not. I think they try to be like dramatic at times. Like that part where she's like, "Please, Dad." Remember that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
There's
yeah.
like parts where it like really looks like she's trying to give a genuine performance, and it just doesn't come off. The jokes don't come off. The drama, the story doesn't come off. And I'd say most importantly, She-Borg's catchphrase is the worst ever. What the fuck
I don't
is
even
it?
know. It's
like
She-Borg's catchphrase?
Yeah,
chaos
isn't it
and snares
chaos,
or something.
Oh, yeah.
Chaos provides.
Yeah, chaos
That's right.
provides.
The main character, the girl, also has a catchphrase.
It fucking crap my life.
Crap my life.
Oh, crap my
He's
life.
saying, crap my life.
Must be like a Brisbane. Thing
Yeah, I made note of how many times chaos provides and crap my life was said.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite a bit.
Okay, so trying to get
we're getting
it's
there.
impossible
We're
not
getting
to
there.
bounce around.
We're
really,
getting there.
but like
It is.
just trying to get through this.
So they do a fight, and some of the choreography, at times it works, at times it feels really like forced and clunky. But so they have a fight. They have a fight with a bunch
Really
of
long action
She-Borgs.
sequences.
This was the van.
Yeah.
Van,
So then then they're just kind of like in a forest now. They're just sort of
Is this the part
going
where
to
they're
the
like
forest.
on the van?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the best part.
All right.
Okay.
This was probably, in my opinion, my favorite part of the entire movie. Actually, just
Yeah.
so they're fighting in a van. Like there's a She-Borg in the van, and there's like Velma, Eddie, and Dylan are in the van fighting this
Punching
She-Borg
her.
in the back of the van, and it's cool. It's like cool, not because of anything like really, except for the fact that Dylan's character actually gets out and starts climbing on the van while they're
While it's
driving,
moving.
like while they're moving,
Yeah.
and it's like, as far as I can tell, like she was not like secured to the van in any way, which
Yeah.
I thought was like, okay, that's
There was
very
some real
cool.
commitment.
That's kind of neat.
By the two main actresses, I think. We theorized that they might be like two Australian wrestlers or something.
I still
'cause they
don't think
do,
the
like,
blonde chick is. I am pretty sure the red hair chick is.
Yeah, they do they're constantly doing like wrestling moves, wrestling tag team moves, cartwheels into kicks, that sort of thing. We we haven't confirmed it at all, but we theorized that was the case, and yeah, there was like some genuine commitment there where she's like clearly on the outside of a moving car, and it's her. It doesn't look like a stunt double. They clearly couldn't afford a stunt double.
It is her.
It looks so awkward too.
Yeah,
like,
it's
you can
really
tell
awkward.
She's like hanging on her. You can tell.
Sometimes you can just straight up see the ropes that she's attached to the car. She's like pressed up against the side. You can tell she has no way to move around because she's strapped in.
Yeah, each
And-
time it cuts back to her, her hips are like
Yeah, she can barely move.
Slightly closer.
So funny.
and she climbs all the way on the outside of the car from the back of the van to the passenger side door and then disables the She-Borg.
Did they explain the disabling part in the
So,
film?
okay, so constantly while they're fighting these She-Borgs, and I also want to say that this car action sequence comes at the tail end of about a 12-minute long fight. I don't know how long it actually was, but it felt like forever. Where they start fighting in the puppy farm, and they're still fighting Borg for like, I swear to God, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And they're finally like starting to drive away, but constantly while they're fighting, they're reaching up to their cyborg eye and like pulling two wires, and that like disables them, but
Does it,
not
though?
forever.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Not forever. They get back up like a few minutes later. Every single Borg who has that happen to them shows back up again. So
Yeah,
like, did
because
the
they didn't
wires
have
grow
enough
back?
actors.
I don't know.
We'll get to it. I think they do die from it, but we'll
Okay.
get to it.
So they're doing at tail end of this action scene. They disable one of the She-Borgs and kick it out of the van. And then they finally leave the puppy farm. They've been there for fucking ever.
Yeah.
They find Rick, who after getting probed, they just find him in a van, like dead, blood coming out of him. They didn't assimilate him. Don't know why. Not explained, but he's gone from the movie forever after that. They go to Dylan's father, who is the mayor of the unnamed city, and they plead with him. They're like, there's aliens, there's cyborgs, they're assimilating everybody. And they do it like a comedy shot, like a...
3 goons all next to each other.
Like 3 of them are like covered. They're all covered in blood, which is, they don't address at all.
The whole movie, they're covered in blood.
Yeah, it's like a shot reverse shot. One shot is the 3 of them sitting and like rambling about the alien cyborgs, and then the opposite shot is the girl's father looking at them like annoyed and disappointed.
Very unalarmed about this, the fact that they're covered.
Yeah.
Clearly
Absolutely
covered in blood.
Soaked in blood.
He doesn't care. He sicks the police on them.
Send them
has
away.
Arrested.
Get them out of my sight.
Yes. They are put into a room that is supposed to be a jail cell, sort of, or like some sort of holding
it
cell.
just kind of looks like someone's office, and they took all the furniture out of it.
Yeah, it's clearly not a cell. It's clearly a room in a building.
Do they...
Normal room in a building.
Yeah, I guess do they have jails at City Hall? Is that a thing?
The jail and the City Hall indistinguishable from one another.
Yeah, it probably just looks like
They kind of blend together. You never know when you're in what building.
If it's American politics, you could probably say the whole place is the jail.
Not to get political.
Because City Hall.
Not to get political. But the real... Okay. So then this leads to the first time that the 2 girls fight. 2 girls are best friends. They constantly bicker, but you can tell that they have a genuine friendship. And like any 2 best friends that are the main characters in a movie,
kiss.
They get in a fight. But in this movie, they get in a fight, I think, 3 times.
Yeah, like so many times.
Yeah.
They beat the fuck out of each other.
I mean a physical fight. Like, not like,
yeah.
You're my friend and you hurt my feelings. It's like, it's that plus a wrestle for 12
and
minutes.
not just wrestling. It's not just like,
they're trying to kill each other.
She's like shoving her face against the wall, like trying to like grind her face off,
like throwing her down on the ground and like wailing on her, like flurries of punches.
Just like makes me think that they like shot the whole movie and edited it, and they were like, "Awesome, we got a whole 36 minutes of footage."
All
They're
right,
like,
let's
"We
start
need a few
fighting.
more." Yeah, let's just throw in a few more scenes.
Put them in a room and they're fighting. They suffer like no wounds from this, obviously. No additional.
Yeah, you
wounds.
can only. Well, they do have to put tissue in their nose.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's right. So the 2 girls, they beat the shit out of each other. They put tissues in their nose and then they settle. They're like, all right, we're friends again. That's over.
And then they're healed.
And they're like, all right, but we got to stop this She-Borg situation. Let's go. And then they just leave as though they were never locked in the room at all.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they had the option to leave the whole time. It's unguarded. They just kind of like sneak away. They like, hold control to sneak and leave. A She-Borg has arrived
At City Hall.
She's just killing people indiscriminately. Like the entire police force is wiped out by this one person, which is about 4 people, none of whom look like police officers. Half of them look like porn actors. There's a couple like sort of stout women. No one who you would cast as a police officer.
And of course you can't forget Beast Officer.
Officer Beast,
Officer
one of them.
Beast.
Again, a guy who looks
He looks like a porn star.
Imagine a porn star.
He reminded me of a really budget Kylo Ren actor.
Oh, Adam Driver.
Yeah, he looked.
If Adam Driver was
I guess he kind
like
of
a
did
porn
look like
star.
Kyle Ren.
actually.
Yeah,
That was Kyle.
that was
Ren.
Kyle Ren.
Yeah, if Adam Driver had like a more masculine face.
Way more ripped and
Oh my god. So this guy, he's like the biggest, largest male officer that you see.
He's the largest male in the movie.
He becomes relevant at like the very end, in like the last quarter of the movie. But anyway, he's the only one I think he's the only cop that doesn't.
Yeah, I think he's the only one that survives that encounter. And then they split up. That's right. Okay, Dylan and Eddie and Velma, they split up. Eddie and Velma go to find a car. Dylan's I don't actually know what Dylan. I don't know why they split up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember why they split up.
But somehow she ran into a She-Borg, right? I think
there's a blonde
fighting.
She-Borg that keeps coming back.
Like a
At this
10-minute
point in the
fight
movie-
She has
scene.
syringes on her fingers.
She like fends her off. And
There's like very little plot at this point in the movie. Like once the She-Borgs land on Earth, it's really just like we need to fight them, and that's
Yep.
all they do until the end. Of the movie.
I think genuinely, I think we're like pretty much at the end of the plot. Like
Yeah.
until
until the end of the
final
movie, there's just
confrontation.
fighting now.
So yeah, there's She-Borgs. There's these two girls who are like societal outcasts, and they fight the She-Borgs 6 times.
here and there, they
Here-
fight him
they
at
fight
City
each
Hall. They
other,
fight him in the
4 different
forest. They
locations.
fight him in this like reception desk for City Hall that appears to be just
Clearly
an
a
abandoned
different
building in the
location.
middle of
Yeah.
a forest.
It's supposed to
And-
be the police reception desk, and you can see in the background the wall is like water
paint's peeling
damaged. The
off.
carpet is torn up. There's shit everywhere.
You see
and
the
then-
same TV see throughout the film.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a TV that keeps appearing in like every time there's a TV. There's only one type of TV in this world. And
Yeah.
it's this old
Did you
little
notice
like
the TV while you were watching it?
1960s.
no, I didn't.
Okay, every time
It's a red TV.
there's a
It's like
TV
a-
on screen,
It's like a red like old like prop 1960s TV or something.
and it
How
is
did I
the
not notice?
exact same TV every time
And
there's a TV.
Not only is it, I mean, I think like with the exception of one time, it's the same TV show too. It's like this, like
Kaiju
Oh
show.
yeah,
Kaiju
the
show.
I
best
did
part of the
notice that.
movie.
It's like that. Like
yeah, it's
it
like
looks like a kaiju show that they made.
and it's like the
Yeah, it has-
same.
clearly made it for the movie.
I don't
it's
know
the same,
why
like,
it's even in the
scene
movie, but
every time it's shown too. It's
Yeah.
but
did that
Mhm.
ever
Was it
come
called,
back
like,
around?
Mutato or
I
something?
have no idea.
Was there like a reason for that being the show? Did I miss that or?
I kind of
think
felt like
so.
a dumb joke. To where
Okay.
at the very end of the movie, that kind of short claymation ends, and they do the credits for it, and they clearly just spammed a bunch of random words in Japanese for the credits
I know
as
some
like
of
a
that was-
gag.
Racially motivated.
Probably.
Yeah, they had
Probably
some
a little.
mean words in there.
Yeah. You could probably translate those words to something really hilarious. Some funniest
but-
stuff in the movie.
But yeah, I mean, if you think about it, that really the plot from here to the end is just fighting in different places, and it's just funny. It's like you get exposed to an array of just silly, badly done VFX, and like it's largely the like the middle chunk of the movie is all the same thing. And actually, for the entire like middle chunk of the movie, She-Borg isn't even in it.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah, she
she's just not
vanishes.
there. Like, she's back at Puppy Farm, basically just like sucking up energy. Like, she's having her Borg minions.
Yeah,
go
so we could
get
talk about she
power and
builds
stuff.
herself a little like machine.
Cocoon.
She builds like a machine to send a signal into
Yeah.
space. To who? Other
Someone, I don't know.
She-Borgs? Not as-
He-Borg.
Not,
Yeah.
not established that there are other She-Borgs in space, but she's creating a machine, and this machine is built out of
Just
what? What is
it's anything that can turn on, basically.
Any junk
So-
electronic the crew had in their garage, they were told to bring
Yeah.
this out. There was like an Xbox, there was a Guitar Hero guitar, the same TV in pristine condition,
Yep.
but they had to reuse it for other shots.
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine if you can 3 just junkyard cars that don't even have like the motor in them. And where the motor would be, there's like random computer parts, any wire, Like, imagine
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
like everyone on
actually-
set is told to reach into their wire drawer and bring fucking
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't necessarily things that can turn on. It was
Just
things that have like
wires.
metal
Yeah.
and copper and just anything. Yeah, anything that looks like it could go in a computer.
And it was just like a pile too. At least the wires, there was
Yep.
so much of it that it was just like
yeah, like
Like-
it's not like stuff was plugged into each
Yeah.
other. It was just like it was literally like a junkyard.
big, like blob of wires.
Yeah, we were joking during the movie where it was like she's assembling this thing out of all this random shit, where it's like cars is technology,
Yeah.
and computers is technology, so they blend perfectly when you just throw them on top
Yeah,
of each other.
It was just technology. She's just absorbing technology.
yeah, anything that was counted as a machine would be added to the pile.
I think it would have been so funny if instead of like sending a signal or something, they like tried to make like a really awful like mech suit out of just stuff. Like
yeah, just random
at the
garbage.
final ending, She-Borg comes out of the car and she's just like Mecha Godzilla or something, but with like a Guitar Hero guitar, an Xbox, and a just.
I would say the
garage
next
sale
probably
junk.
plot development in the story is still during the fight scenes, but you get a little glimpse at what the Beast is up to. He goes to check out two teenagers like banging at the puppy mill again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's
There's
right.
these two other She-Borgs from like some subplot with like a punk band or something. Anyways, they got like murked and turned to She-Borgs, and they're there, and pretty much they capture the two people banging. You don't get to see them nude, by the way, which is a very big disappointment on my part.
No
No
fucking-
really nudity in this film, which was weird, except for like the kaiju. Anyways, so they get killed. Cop shows up, and then they start messing with the cop, but they don't kill the cop. They just let him go randomly, and that causes the Beast to run back to the police station, and they meet up with the other people and join their squad, pretty much. And that's
Yep.
pretty much the end of the middle part of the film. Then
That's
they go
right.
to like back to the puppy mill farm again, where there's a bunch of She-Borgs now, and her dad's now a She-Borg,
Mhm.
and they
And
have
running for mayor or something.
Yeah.
If he wasn't already mayor, I don't know
yeah,
if he was
which
already
Huge
turns
mayor,
into my
yeah.
favorite part of the film personally. It's just like an all-out brawl now in this just like field.
Yeah, and and so then like it's an all-out brawl, and everyone's kind of doing all right, except
Yeah.
for Beast Cop. You're just getting
Beast Cup's getting
absolutely
absolutely destroyed.
spanked.
Like
dude.
you think he's going to die. He's
getting,
not landing a
like-
single hit, and he's just getting his head bashed.
There's a
in.
shot where he's on the floor, and this Borg is just punching him over and over again, and I don't know what's happening in this shot. Like I don't know what is going on in like the edit there, but so like every time he gets punched, it looks like he just like reloaded his character model or something.
Yeah.
Like it's like I don't know. His head like clips a certain way that looks really weird, and he's also like looking into the camera just really blankly.
So many people look at the camera in this movie.
Yeah.
Just like directly at the camera in so many scenes.
And so this fight scene goes on, and they crash a car, which is where all the budget had to go to. It's like a really shitly made cop car with a spoiler on it. That's police. And that crashes, and then it kind of just cuts away to them getting chased by a bunch of Borgs with their shirts off now. And the part I want to bring up is, like we were saying, the Beast was getting absolutely destroyed. You would kind of assume he just died, but then he just appears out of nowhere with randomly his shirt's off now for the next half hour of the film with no explanation. He's covered in blood.
Yes, he. So while the big action sequence, Beast Cop is getting his dick pulled around by like an assortment of Borgs. Meanwhile, the two main girls are like kicking ass and like easily just fighting off like this whole horde of Borgs. And yeah, essentially there's a cut, and in the next shot, the guy just has his shirt off,
And he's back in business.
and he's back. He's ready to fight.
He's
got
ready
this
and
fear.
rearing.
He's ready to fight. I don't actually think he disables one Borg.
No.
This is what I wanted to say too. Remember earlier in I was talking about I had a little conspiracy theory about disabling the Borg's part, where up until now, pretty much you kind of disable the Borg and they're kind of just out for the rest of the movie. I feel like
When they pull the wires off their face.
yeah, because they didn't really come back after until this middle part.
They did. There was a couple at least that definitely had their wires pulled, and then they came back after that.
Well, I'm going to tell my conspiracy theory anyways. So you see all these Borgs get their wires pulled out, and then when the Beast comes with his shirt off, all the Borgs randomly have their shirt off. So
That's
my hypothesis is they just didn't have enough extras, so they kind of just told them to take off their shirts, and now they're new Borgs.
Oh, they're supposed to be like
Oh.
different.
Yeah, see, that's what I was
Okay.
thinking. And then they kind of went. They were like, "Yeah, that didn't work. Well, we already did it. I guess they
Yeah.
just get disabled for a
My
minute."
theory about that is that guy was like, I want to take my shirt
Because
off.
the guy's fucking ass kicked and
and
looked like a
then
bitch.
the directors were like, okay, yeah, whatever, take your shirt off.
Also,
And then
this
all the
guy.
other
wanna take
male,
my shirt
and then
off.
all the other male Borg actors were there, and they were
we
like,
have to too.
I want to take my fucking shirt off.
Also, this guy's easily the most least ripped guy out of that whole entire group. He looks like the default character you load up into a game before you create him. That's what he looks like. He has he's not fat or flabby, but he also
No
has
definition.
he has just default.
No, he has no abs at all. I mean, no, not to be mean to the guy, but
No. I mean, he looks like me if you scaled my body up by 60%.
That'd be huge, dude.
Yeah, I'd be like 8 foot. So I wouldn't say that. But
I mean, he was a pretty tall guy. I don't know.
I had to bring that up.
Oh, Jesus. Well, yeah, the movie is trying to objectify this guy. There's at one point where the character turns around.
Yeah,
and
Velma's like, oh.
because they point out that his shirt's off. They try to be post-ironic about it, where they're like, why don't you just put a fucking shirt on, you weirdo? And then one of the characters is like, why? He can keep his shirt off, and she gets distracted by his sexy body, but it's the most normal Pillsbury Doughboy body. You poke him on the belly button, and he's like, woohoo!
And so essentially now, after she pokes his belly, they walk out on their balcony, probably to let some of the steam out of the room because they're so turned on at this point. They see a giant blue beam. Keep in mind the color blue. A giant blue beam coming back from the puppy mill again. And they have to go investigate. And I'm going to have you take a little guess on what took place when they went to go investigate the blue beam.
Yeah, so essentially they action sequence at City Hall goes on forever and ever. There's also a separate part where one of the Borg ladies goes and finds a metal band and Borgs them all, and then butt fucks one of the dudes in the band.
Yep, really graphically.
That's just
you
wrong.
can actually see
It looks
two
like they
cheeks.
genuinely put something in
Yeah,
the
they
actor's
actually. I think
asshole.
and then they pull the butt plug out and they do the noise. It's like a
Yeah, they clearly think it's super funny, and they make a joke where one of the Borg ladies is like, "Why are we even try? Why do you even do that?" And she's like, "To get information." And they're like, "Out of his butthole," and it's supposed to be funny, but it's you clearly only included this because you genuinely thought the image of a dude getting his ass probed was funny.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only reason
Not that
I'm even
funny.
watching.
the bro's like raunchy butt joke. Oh,
But it's
sick.
But
But I don't want. Yeah,
It's simple. I love butt.
Film festival interview.
So why did you create She-Borg? Well, I love butt.
They do that. They go to Velma's apartment. The two main girls get in a fight again. this one's shorter. And
Yeah,
then
one
they
of them's
see,
shorter than the other. I think it's the blonde one.
Yes, one of the girls. And then, and then while they're at Velma's, a big beam shoots up into the space, and
Blue
because
beam.
they've combined enough Xboxes with car transistors
Yep.
and Guitar Hero
They,
controllers,
so they activate star power on the Guitar Hero guitar.
yeah.
And the big blue beam comes out.
Big Viagra beam.
Yeah. Shoots straight up into the sky, and they're like, let's end this. And then they go into the final action sequence where it's night,
Yep.
and they
And again they
show
split up. They split up. Dylan goes again just to off. She goes to she goes to find the extension cord that they have the giant car machine plugged into, which is just like in the middle of a warehouse. And so she goes to
It's the one from the
unplug
start
it.
of the film.
What?
It's the one from the start of the film.
I know,
They do
but
plug in this
but like
wire. They
it's just
established
funny
it.
because it's like it's just this random. Like you think they'd put like the power by the machine, but it's just this random like extension cord in the middle of a just different building.
Yeah,
And so she goes to unplug the power cord, and she gets in a fight with another She-Borg who keeps returning. She like is in every fight.
It's the one they fought at the courthouse.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
blonde
she fought at
She-Borg
City Hall.
with
She
the
fought him
syringe
everywhere. Where didn't
hands.
she fight him? And she kind of gets Dylan kind of gets like waffle stomped in this
She
one
should be
for a
dead.
second. She should be dead. She gets her. You know how you can like put someone's head in between like a car door and just
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like-
like that scene in Daredevil.
yeah, right. And it's like, oh yeah, that'll like crush your head like a watermelon, basically.
And she does it
Yeah,
10
you know
times.
She
in a
does it
row.
literally 3 times, and not only do they do it 3 times, they show it on screen, like the collision. And what really kills me about it is, like, for how many shots in this film are like all like super shaky handheld. This is like one of the 3 shots in the movie that is perfectly still, and every time it hits her, there's like. It's not like blood comes out. It's like this like red mist forms around her head. It's like I'm so confused what's going on in that moment, but it's something else.
Yeah. So yeah, like we mentioned that scene in Daredevil. You know how he completely destroys the person's head. In this, Dylan is like incapacitated for I think a couple minutes. The She-Borg does this, and she's passed out. She's knocked out, and then the She-Borg that just slammed her face into the car door is just like she's dealt with, and she like wanders off, and then a few moments later, Dylan
Like seconds
literally,
later,
like genuinely just pops in from the bottom of the frame, like behind her, like and then disables her by like grabbing her face.
no, I think she. Oh,
Or was that
she
earlier?
runs? She runs her over, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
She
she does the thing. She does that earlier, and then
yeah.
she that's right. So she gets in the car that she just got her head slammed into, and then repeatedly runs over the She-Borg. She runs her over like 4 times. She goes like completely over her back and forth. I think 3 or 4
And
times.
again, it's one of the only shots in the movie that's like perfectly still. It's just
Oh,
like
yeah.
a static shot of this car like running her over, backing up. It's like a funny, it seems like it's supposed to be a comedy shot where it's like
Yeah.
it's like a cartoon where a car comes in and out of frame and is just repeatedly
And the whole time she's saying
Backing
like, "This
over
is
somebody."
bullshit. Die!" running.
Die, you
off.
son of a bitch. She keeps calling women son of a bitch also. She does it like 4 times.
Sexist bastard.
Which is fucked up. So that happens. She defeats that particular Borg and then regroups with the rest of them at the big car pile machine that's shooting the beam. It's no longer shooting the beam because she
Well,
unplugged it.
it is shooting a beam at first, but it's shooting a significantly smaller green beam now.
Yeah, originally the beam was
Avada
blue.
Kedavra.
And it was
Bro.
huge. Now it's just like
It's a little
I don't know, it's
itty bitty.
It's like an optical illusion.
Yeah, it's an optical illusion.
They arrive there. Velma tries to make a diplomatic
offering.
attempt with the She-Borg. The main She-Borg who has been absent for practically the entire movie. She is sitting in the pile.
she's like in the car, like ready to drive
I
it.
think she's supposed to be like a part of the machine, like they're adding parts to her. But it doesn't. She's just sitting in the car. It doesn't come across
She
that
just
way.
gets out of the car.
Yeah. And Velma approaches She-Borg. She's like, "We could be friends. Humans love to make friends," because she loves Star Trek. And this is
right.
where they
Prime
kind of
directive.
decide to take a dump on Star Trek, and She-Borg shows up, and I forget what her line is. She was like,
"We are not friends with food or something."
"Oh yeah, we don't make friends with our food." And then she goes in for the kill on Velma, but thankfully shirtless Beast Cop just like walks up, picks up Velma and walks away with her. There's like 5 She-Borg around. They don't do anything to stop
because they're
that.
stunned by his strength.
They're stunned by his his masculine
He's
energy.
so just beefed up that
Yeah.
it's insane.
For whatever reason, they don't do anything to stop that. He grabs Velma. They essentially like walk away, and then they fall over, and that's where they stay for the remainder.
For the
of
remainder
the movie.
of the
They
movie.
don't help at all after that.
And a lot of shit goes down in the next 2 minutes.
So yes,
Felt like 10
this
minutes.
movie goes so fast.
the
Last.
blonde girl, Eddie, of the 2 main girls. She starts fighting one She-Borg. There was a ton of them there moments ago.
Yep.
But she's only fighting one. It's a really long fight, and they use the green goop. If you remember, we mentioned in the podcast earlier, there was a pile of green goop
Yep.
that can hurt She-Borgs. She uses the pile of green goop to kill, like, melt the She-Borg that she's fighting.
Yep.
They do use the green goop to melt She-Borgs earlier, so they knew it would work.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a proven tactic.
But
And I think it's basically like shit, right? Like it's basically guts and shit.
yeah,
They said that in the
like
movie.
their whole body was green poo poo, and it kills She-Borgs. It melts them, and that's the only way to kill them.
Yep.
Oh god, we're
And-
so close, guys.
Yeah. So basically, she throws She-Borg or a She-Borg in the green goop. She's like, "Yay!" And then the other She-Borgs are just, I think, gone. I don't think they even show up again.
Their time got up, so they went home.
They weren't getting paid anymore, so
Yeah.
budget ran out.
They went
Yeah,
overtime. You went. You're getting paid.
She's all excited, and then of course, She-Borg, who went back to hiding in her car after Beast Cop ran into the scene. She comes back out and just positively skewers.
She's like a laser beam at him, doesn't she?
No, we're not there yet. We're not there yet. She's just skewers, rips the guts out of Eddie, and it's really awful.
One of the best friends
Yep.
is killed by the original She-Borg.
She-Borg herself.
I think she rips her tongue out.
Yep.
And then she rips her heart out.
And then
also,
eats it
and eats
like
it.
an apple.
Yeah.
Which is
Not
like
expecting
awesome in a Mortal Kombat game. But
Yeah.
obviously,
And might
They
even
made
be
this-
awesome in a Mortal Kombat movie, but
It was awesome.
They
in the
made
Mortal
this
Kombat
effect.
movie.
In She-Borg, they had to achieve this effect with $80. So it does not look good. When She-Borg kills one of the two main girls, and obviously all of us watching it were floored, devastated,
heartbroken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dylan sees it. She arrives just in time to see it, I believe.
And she's pissed.
And she's
No,
like,
Dylan got skewered too, didn't she?
No.
Yeah, she did. Come up,
Yeah, she did
pulled
get.
it out of her
Yeah,
gut.
she got shot, and then she gets. Yeah,
gets
she gets shot, but she sees Eddie dead, and she's like, she has a second win because of it. She's like,
No, she got skewered because she
gets-
pulled it out and stabbed She-Borg with it.
right, yeah. So she.
oh.
Yeah, I'm saying she got a second win, stabbed She-Borg, but then someone started shooting Dylan with a laser. She-Borg at some point she's getting
Okay,
shot
yeah.
with
She
this
got a
awful
She-Borg
laser.
whole time has had a laser.
Yeah, she never uses it. Well, and for good reason. It didn't fucking do
Yeah,
anything,
so
dude.
she-
It was literally she shoots her with this laser, and it's just like turning her orange, and it doesn't
Yeah,
actually hurt her.
yeah. So imagine Return of the Jedi. Emperor Palpatine is shooting lasers or lightning at Luke Skywalker, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Father!" He's like fucking dying, like he's melting. But instead of that, he's just kind of like, "Ow, ooh," and then he slowly inches, like crawls towards his lightsaber.
But not crying like in pain, just crying like you're tired. I don't know.
Headache, yeah.
sleepy.
Yeah.
And he grabs. She reaches for what? She reached for a gun. I can't remember.
I don't know.
Oh, it is. She grabs like a ray gun or
Yeah.
something.
They're flames.
Oh, also they use
yeah,
the
she,
magic
yeah, she
wand.
grabs a
Like,
flamethrower and it's just laying there.
Yeah. So she's she's being like constantly beamed by She-Borg. It's fucking but it's clearly having no effect on her. She's just like, "Ow, ooh," as she slowly crawls.
She's not.
towards the
I don't think she's
flamethrower.
crawling. She's like rolling, like she's
Yeah.
like
She
a
moves
long
good,
ways roll.
3 feet though. She
Yeah,
moves so
And
far.
She-Borg's just standing there the whole time, just like pointing the laser at her, following her as she's moving.
Yeah.
Couldn't be fucked. Just walk over.
Yeah,
to her.
why, listen, she
Like-
could just walk up to her and kick her
Like
head
her,
in or
well, her
something.
whole thing is like, I'm gonna go up and rip your tongue out and eat your heart, and she's just standing there lasering her with an orange ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know she tasted so good, like oranges after
know.
that.
I
I
know.
know she had
I
orange
know
jelly
Dylan was
inside.
laying there like, oh, this is so yummy.
I guarantee She-Borg's
She
laser
got so
tasted
much vitamin C.
delicious, bro.
That was a pure Sonny D beam right
Oh,
there.
I know
Yeah.
it tasted
Oh.
delicious.
Then she picks up the flamethrower that she rolls over to, and she points it at She-Borg and lights She-Borg on fire with, obviously it's not real fire. No real fire in the whole movie.
No, they
All
made a
VFX.
There
point
was
of that.
real fire, wasn't there?
No,
No.
no.
The whole
No,
movie was
right.
real
All
fire.
the fire.
Well, it tricked me.
There's she flamethrowers She-Borg. Does she die from that?
Yes.
I don't know, but I just had a thought.
she
We're
does,
gonna
yeah.
get a comment in 3 years, and it's gonna be from Arnold Daniels or whatever his name is, and he's gonna be
Daniel
like,
Armstrong.
he's gonna be like, "Fuck you, dude. We actually had
Yeah,
real fire.
hey,
It
Ben,
was
let me
real
tell-
Fire, you fucking
Whoa,
douche.
watch again, dumbass."
Ben, you're making fun of my visual effects. I saw the clones you made.
all right.
You're gonna call us
All right,
out.
come on, man.
Listen, man. Daniel
Seriously,
Armstrong-
friendly fire, man. Seriously.
Daniel Armstrong.
I like the
if you're
clone.
listening to this, we don't hate you, man.
Hey, Daniel Armstrong,
I
come
don't
on the
even hate your
podcast. We'll
It's
watch
fine.
another. We'll watch Daniel Armstrong. Come on the podcast. You can watch all of the senior films we made this year, and
You
you,
can
can
totally
have.
You
shit
can
on them,
totally
dude.
make a podcast about
We
them.
totally-
You can totally rip into it.
You can. you
Good
can
luck,
totally,
I'll kiss you.
Serious threat.
Yeah, good luck, man. Try and watch a movie.
Try me.
Try and watch my movie while I'm busy kissing you.
So, I mean, after watching Reign of Fire last week, where there was absolutely real fire, I think I can tell that
I know
Pokemon
a thing or
Go,
two about
dude.
fire, baby.
that movie was made in 2002.
I've been checked it all day.
He's fucking playing Pokemon
Yeah,
Go.
Pete,
We're
is
playing
big. Pete loves this movie. He's currently playing
I like the
Pokemon
movie.
Go.
We're not at the part where we discussed. There's one more big giant twist we have to talk about.
Yeah, okay,
The
so she
twist
flamethrowers
about
She-Borg.
Venus?
She-Borg is killed. I feel like I can't remember. She's killed by that, right?
Yeah, she
yeah,
died. It
something
ends
like
right
that.
there.
Okay.
It ends there. It does like a jump cut to the future.
No, it doesn't. We see the future romance.
That's what I'm saying. It does a
Beast
jump
Cop
cut to the future.
Beast Cop
pulls
and
Velma into his arms and like protects her. Real
Fred
beautiful.
and Velma.
Fred and Velma.
Just like
His name is probably Fred. Like, I don't know if they ever say his name, but it's probably
Might be
credited as
Shaggy
Fred.
because they dated, right?
I don't
In
know.
the- in
no,
in
Scooby and
some-
Shaggy.
No.
You're thinking of Scooby, man.
Oh, you're thinking of Scrappy.
Then
She shocked the dog.
then it's
No.
hard cuts to credits. I think.
Well, no, it doesn't.
right?
No, it doesn't cut to credits.
No, it does the jump
It,
cut.
it cuts. It cuts
Or
to the future,
yeah.
where. It's
Oh,
the three of
right.
them.
I forgot
It's-
that
it's
was before
Dylan.
the credits,
It's
right.
Dylan, Beast Cop, Fred, and Velma. Beast Cop Fred
In a
is
van.
wearing like a dollar store camouflage T-shirt.
Because he's ready for action, Ben.
I
He's
think
ready for
actually-
fucking
I
action.
think actually, like it looks like a costume for like a 6-year-old like army man or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
It looks terrible. They're in Velma's van.
Mystery
When
Shack.
she's in the mist. They're all in the mystery
Mystery
machine,
Shack.
which is decked out with like barbed wire and like
A spear on the
a
front.
spear on the front, and they see like 2 asteroids like falling to Earth, and they're supposed to be aliens, and they're like, "We got 2 inbound," and then the main girl is like, "Let's go fuck shit up." She does like an epic last line.
Then-
Can't remember.
And then they show
Let's shit on some fuck.
Then they show some like
Let's shit on some
they
board.
show some really crazy behind the scenes footage.
Let's
butt. They misspelled a bunch of the stuff in the credits, and then
Yeah, the credits are kind of premiere default
right.
credits.
All right,
Hey,
watch it, Pete. Watch it, Pete. You're already friendly fired once. I won't hesitate.
hey, look at my credit. Look at my credits, Ben. I word checked them.
You did word
Word
check.
check.
You did, and clearly they did not.
Word
so.
check.
You word checked him. To
The one time
check.
that almost happened, I noticed right before
The
I
credits
said it
they
was
show like bloopers and behind the scenes during the credits.
It's not. But
Painfully
the
unfunny.
crazy
Yeah,
thing
not good.
is just like a Marvel movie, there's an after credit scene.
Yeah, that's right. So there is a post-credit scene. The credits only last like about a minute because
Yeah.
obviously they're really short. And there's a post-credit scene where we see Eddie, the girl who was killed, the other best friend. She is now full She-Borged out.
Borged out.
She's a Borg head.
She's a Borg head.
Completely
Uh,
Borged. She walks on
Super
screen.
insanely hot.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
epic.
it's
And
just perfect
she-
ending.
The
in my
camera
opinion.
is like spinning around her body to like slowly reveal
yeah.
that like, oh my god, she's been turned into a She-Borg. It freezes in front of her face as she prepares to say the epic final line, which is completely inaudible.
Yeah.
Like not decipherable in any language.
She looks
Like,
in the camera and goes,
She looks in the camera and she goes, "Oh, this is
to
formidable."
make another Star Wars comparison, it's like if like when Darth Vader's like about to say, the line in Empire Strikes Back, he's just like, Luke.
Yeah, it was like practically like Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like simile.
the subtitles
Simile.
literally say gargling mumble. and then it hard cuts. And the movie is over.
Started speaking Hati.
All tuba.
Luke
Bobby
Ubahesa Dabasa.
Bobby bubble.
Yeah, so
and then it's over.
movie sucked.
So it did suck. We've been
movie
talking
ruled.
for a while, and that's fine with it. But I kind of want to talk about something in regards to this movie and a lot of other
The
low-budget
conflict in
movies.
Ukraine is really. What?
She-Borg.
God, Japanese release.
poster.
She-Borg.
That poster's way cooler, actually.
Oh my
Oh my God! Excuse you,
Don't
bro.
fucking fall out of
I'm
his
sorry.
chair, bro.
Tooted, bro.
I'm sorry, I've passed gas.
So, like, is it fair game to just like shit on low budget filmmaking? And
You can.
that's-
I'm gonna
yeah.
defend it, but
can
you
when
can.
it sucks.
Well, okay.
But it
I
sucks.
mean, again, we've all been there. We've been there, and it's there's a lot of things that are wrong with this movie that you could say about anything that we have made.
yeah,
Like,
don't look up our films.
don't look at our films; they suck.
No.
But like I think it is fair game, because the thing is, ultimately what makes this movie, I think, like entertaining, at least in a group setting. Kate had to watch it on his own. I'm sorry.
I don't know how
Sorry
the fuck
for
you
your
did
soul,
that.
dude.
It
I don't think I could have done that. I would have actually jumped off a roof, but I'm sure that's very inspiring for Daniel Armstrong.
Hey, Mr.
Whatever positive you were about to say now, just don't even say it.
Mr. Armstrong,
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna end it there, man. I don't.
I enjoyed your film. I generally did. Unlike them,
You
I'd
got
watch
beat.
it on my own. I'm generally curious to
Oh
see
my
what you made
goodness.
last year on your own.
Suck up,
But
teacher's pet.
no, I feel like
Brown nosing.
when we
On
first
She-Borg.
started,
Brown nosing, dude.
yeah, I am brown nosing. You know what? You need a co-director or producer. I'd be honored to do it even for free because I'm such a fanboy.
Oh
of
my
you.
God, he's about to fly out
Daniel
to Australia
Aykroyd.
and co-direct She-Borg 2.
Can't even get his name right.
Dude, I can't even get any of my fucking actors in my film.
Mr. Arnold,
this guy's name.
Yeah, if you want to collab, hit us up.
Mr. Arnold, I'd love to
this
inform
movie-
you, I'm in heat right now.
These kind of
I'm wet.
movies have this is its own genre. Neither, some people call them B sci-fi, B films. I wouldn't say this is a B film. I would probably say
F.
I would say it's like a D or something, a D film. But you're watching this
These
because
nuts.
it's shitty. Like this guy went. There's no way this guy. There's no way this guy made this and went. I got the next big sci-fi film series, She-Borg. It looks great. There's like a shot in it as well we didn't really talk about where they just like skipped a frame, and it was just like white for like a solid like millisecond.
Yeah.
Look, there's no way this was made
Well,
seriously.
and-
This guy had a vision, a very poor vision, but his vision was poor at the start, and he achieved his poor vision.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, actually. I mean, I think this movie works really well as a bad movie.
Now, Ben,
and I
before
think
you,
it's
I'm
fun
going to cut you off for a
watch
second
with
because I
friends.
want you to know this has won awards.
Oh, has it?
Oh,
Yeah.
It was featured in a film festival.
It
we
won
saw.
special jury award, and it won the best actress and best supporting actress.
I support
For Willary
that
Duff.
decision. Actually, they weren't
As well?
amazing actresses. But
Yeah,
as far as a low budget, they were committed.
they were committed.
and they did some shit for this movie. I think those two girls were actually a-okay in my.
The red hair chick was okay. The blonde sucked,
The-
but
Mm, great.
as well, Mr. Armstrong has a little bit of prestige to his name.
Oh my God.
Do you want to hear what it
He's a
is?
Coppola?
related to
Oh,
Neil Armstrong.
Well, you could be an Armstrong. You could say he made the film Murder Dome.
Oh.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah, the very
that movie.
first roller derby
No
horror
fucking
film
clue
ever
what the fuck
made.
you're talking about.
roller. What's it called? Murder Dome.
Yeah, the first roller derby horror film ever,
Yeah, I don't know what that
which
is.
hit a
Okay.
chord with alternative cinema fans around
Don't
the
know.
world.
Don't care.
Um,
I didn't care enough, but
all right. I mean, my take on whether it's okay to shit on these low budget films is, yeah, yeah. I think it's fair game because frankly, there are things in every single frame of this movie where I could point to it and say that's wrong, and you could fix it easily. Like constantly, there are things where it was just like just a little bit more effort. It would make a lot of difference. I wouldn't be able to constantly be pointing like soy face pointing at the movie.
True.
Like all of the flaws.
Although I'm not to interrupt you and cut you off, but yes, that is what I'm doing. But I do think Pete is kind of right though in that I think I would have enjoyed this less if I didn't have things to, like, if I wasn't like getting up pointing out like there's lens dirt on the like camera, like, and multiple shots. Like it's so, and like the sky being just looking like the fucking ether,
and
like,
their royalty-free use laser beam effect having a lens flare embedded into it.
Like the little bit of effort I'm talking about is genuinely just like touching the fucking, like, adjust the white balance.
Well,
like,
true.
Like check the fucking shutter speed. Like it's basic camera operation we're talking about.
Well, they used a cell phone, so
Yeah, they didn't have control over the exposure or the focus. But I don't know. I mean, I think to kind of bridge what both of you guys are saying, it's like I sort of feel like it is bad, and I think it works as bad. And I think that's also why it's kind of okay to shit on it, because to me that's like what makes this fun. Like I think I do agree that. I mean, I don't know. I'm you know, Daniel, if you watch this back in the editing room, it's like, oh yeah,
you're like, oh fuck yeah, this is epic.
This is fucking sick.
And then Daniel, I'm gonna. There's something that came to my head. I'm cutting Ben off because we keep cutting each other off.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna. You know, I talked shit about Ben earlier about his little cloning saga thing he did, which I liked. But I'm gonna give him a little shout out with his look at our Munge video, our very first short we uploaded, and it currently is still our only short we uploaded because it's only the second or third week. I don't remember. Anyways, we had, what was I saying? Oh, there's special. There's this might shock you guys. A little behind the scenes in the door. There wasn't actually a car in that room. Our in-house graphic effect maker Benjamin Vogt modeled that car.
Modeled it in an extensive modeling suite known as Gary's
It kind of looks better than anything else you had in your fucking
between
film.
Making a little YouTube skit for genuinely $0 and making a feature-length film, like, yeah, our shit is fair game as well. I 100, like, you know,
they can try, but
if you want to go out and make a movie podcast about, you know,
about
fucking student
just
film,
drop
go ahead.
A podcast that waits for a Nondescript Video Club skit to drop and then just immediately shits on it.
Shits all over it. Like
the Descript video.
Like, if you want to do that, fair game.
That's your prerogative.
Because I say you're allowed to do it because I'm allowed to shit on She-Borg.
Yeah,
and that's why I think it's fair game. And to compare it to, because I think all of these like directors who take like maybe like, I would guess this movie was made for like $30,000. That's my guess for the budget.
It's probably 30 to 50, I'd imagine.
$30,000 to $50,000. All of these like small-time directors with a script they like, usually are horror script or something like that. They all want to make like The Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
The Evil Dead is a good movie with like solid fundamentals, interesting ideas, things you haven't seen in other movies before. Like, and like incredible execution. All these indie directors like don't understand what went into that thing to make it special.
Michigan.
That's right.
Pure
Bruce Campbell,
Michigan.
Sam Raimi, all
Pure
Michigan
Michigan.
natives, like ourselves. So everybody. I think this movie references that movie at some point. I'm not.
It references
Face
Face
Yeah, there was
Off.
the chainsaw in it.
Oh, it does. It references Face Off. A really cheesy, unfunny reference. There is a part with a chainsaw. I guess that's not really a reference.
No, I said it wasn't a joke. I didn't mean it seriously.
But like that is like if you think that's gonna be you're gonna go out there and you're gonna do like what Sam Raimi did. Like those people that made that movie, they sweat, and bled and paid for that to turn out good, and they didn't compromise and say they didn't like settle on VFX like this movie is constantly doing like in every other fucking frame. Like
well, they didn't have the intense VFX we have today.
I mean that's
it's
true.
2013, man. Come on, cut them some slack. 2012 when they were making it, probably.
But they weren't gonna
The
well,
Stone
they didn't
Ages.
have After Effects back then.
if you're gonna go out and you're gonna make one of these low budget movies, and you think like no one has any right to like dump on it, or you think you expect like praise just for this for the sake of it being a small budget, I genuinely just disagree with that. I think your movie should be held to the same standards as all movies. And I think it was during the second like butt fucking like involuntary butt fucking scene that I looked at the screen and I just legitimately said fuck you and your fucking stupid movie. And that is how I feel. Fuck She-Borg.
Should we get into our reviews?
Yeah, let's. I think we've all said. I think
we've-
our feelings are generally established, but we'll start with Pete
Yeah, we've
as
splooged out all our feelings.
the defender of She-Borg.
She-Borg.
Listen, I had fun watching it. I like these kind of films to an extent. They scratch a little itch in my brain as I look at Facebook Marketplace. I generally enjoyed this film, Mr. Armstrong. I do want to see this roller derby film you have, and what you made last year. Because it has a 7 out of 10 IMDb. Granted, it probably has like 2 reviews, but I'm generally curious. That's why I'm giving this film a 4.8.
A 9 out of 10.
No, I guess so. It's like a 4.8. I'd had fun.
All right.
I generally hated that dragon movie we watched last week. I talked about this with you guys in private. I fucking hated that movie. That movie made me mad.
Yeah.
So I had a lot more fun watching this.
This was definitely worse than Rain of Fire was. I would probably give it a 2. It sucked. It was like irredeemable. Maybe a 1 even. Like it was just like it was pretty irredeemable. It wasn't
I've seen worse.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think I've seen worse, but it's definitely like I feel like if I'm giving a score of like a 2, it has to have like something I like. Yeah, I guess I can give it a 2 because of the like physical practical effects. That's probably the one thing I like, but I don't think I'd ever want to see it again. So
Before Ben and
can't
Luke
go
go, I
any
want to
higher
ask you a
than 2.
question. Luke asked me and Ben. What was better, this or Assassin's
No.
League?
Assassin's League. This was better than Assassin's
Okay.
League. This was far better than Assassin's
Okay, that's all I
League.
wanted to know. I rest my case.
All right. So positives for this movie. I appreciate the main actress's commitment. I liked. It seemed like she actually had some genuine wrestling knowledge, some good casting. I appreciate the commitment to practical effects. There was a ton of them, but frankly, they all looked like shit. Every frame of this movie looked like shit. And the plot was like dumb and cheesy, and I get that that's probably what they were going for, but fuck you. You wasted my time. I hate your movie. I would give She-Borg like a 1 or a 1.5.
It's pretty fair.
I will never see it again. I don't want anyone who listens to this to watch it. And I'm sorry, not to discourage it. I hope you keep making films. But
he made one last year.
Keep making films. Make them better than this. Because I hated this. Fuck you.
Yeah, I think I would also. I think probably 1 out of 10.
Is it worse than Slender Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
it
What?
was- it was-
No,
yeah,
it's
it was.
not
I
true.
I think
I did have fun, but
the only
not
I had a
because I was
I
with
think
the
maybe
boys.
1.5 because I had fun watching it here, like with other people. I think if I'm watching an awful movie like this with other people, I can actually like laugh at it. But if I was watching this alone, I know I just would have been sad. I would have been laying in my bed like, man,
Dude, that's what I was doing. I fell asleep.
You didn't feel encouraged?
seriously,
No.
I'm watching She-Borg. I could totally be watching porn right now or something.
Pete brings up a good point where it's like it is kind of inspiring.
That's what I say.
It is.
That doesn't mean I gotta give it a higher
you can't
rating.
make something
I'm not.
that bad.
It's not a good movie, but it is inspiring as like a filmmaker. Because
This is on two streaming services.
This is available.
This guy
on
got
Amazon.
paid to put these on
It's in-
streaming services.
It's included with Prime.
Yeah, it's on Cramazon Plus and Poopy.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want to say before I didn't really finish. There's only one movie that I think is actually worse than this movie, and that's some adaptation of Franz Kafka's The Metamorphosis. But
need to watch this.
this is I think probably the second worst movie I've ever watched in my entire life.
Holy shit! Feature length, yeah, probably it's one of the worst.
Yeah, feature length. Yeah, this is the second worst movie I've ever watched.
But okay, yeah, as like a filmmaker, it is inspiring because it's true. It's on Amazon Prime. It's on Tubi.
You can get your stuff out there.
And it is genuinely an award-winning
Yeah.
festival
Yeah.
featured thing. This thing played in a theater to a cast of to a bunch of people, and if you go on Letterboxd, there's
People
some
watched it and
people
people
watched
liked
it,
it.
and people liked it.
That's all that matters.
I think it
Yeah.
sucked ugly dump.
Yeah, only 6 people
But-
died in the original screening.
But if you should be
Good bet.
watching this, and if you're a young filmmaker, you should think to yourself, I have absolutely zero excuse not to go out and make a better film than this.
All right, so I think the end note is you should go watch it. I think I've convinced everyone. Thanks,
Yeah,
guys,
you
for
should
listening to this
definitely watch
podcast.
it.
Yeah.
And
Wait. We
Cade,
gotta
what's
spin the
next week?
wheel.
I know I was gonna say,
Oh, yeah,
Cade,
yeah.
why don't you give
the
us?
wheel, that's
Why don't you
right.
give us next week's film?
Yeah,
keep an
let's
eye
do it.
out. You can
We
keep
gotta,
going. I'm
yeah.
just
Let's
gonna keep
get
talking
ready
this
to
one.
watch next week's film.
Fuck you, Daniel Armstrong.
I love you. I want your autograph.
Kiss you.
What is it, Cade?
All right. Next week it's Plato's Reality Machine.
Oh my God, we were just looking at.
Wait, that's the one I said we should watch?
It's in the it's yeah, okay.
Yes.
So oh God,
Thank you,
I just
Kate.
want to mention this real quick because we were reading the description for that movie on Amazon. You know who Mackenzie Davis is?
No.
Famous, like award-winning actress, real actress.
Okay.
She's in this movie.
It's her
What was
first
she
film.
in?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you remember in Blade Runner 2049 when Ryan Gosling has double sex?
yeah.
So
yeah.
That's
Ana
her.
Ana de Armas is the
Oh.
digital girl. She's like the physical
Okay.
one.
She's also in The Martian.
She was in The Martian. She was in
Double
Terminator. She was in
Terminator's not a good thing to have, but
No, she was in one of the recent
she's in the
Terminator reboots.
recent
double
one.
sex sounds like something like 1984.
Yeah.
They have, like,
Winston was having double sex.
Yeah, she's a
Cade,
real
did you watch
actress.
the
Been
trailer
in
to this?
Academy
No.
award-winning
Oh,
films.
you're in for a
She may
treat.
be like Academy nominated even. I don't know. She's a really talented,
I
genuinely
don't think she's
good
won an
actress.
award. She's probably been on.
But she is in this movie. She's in Plato's.
All right.
She wasn't in the trailer, but we'll find her.
All right, guys. Tune in next week for Plato's Reality Machine. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Nondescript Video Club
Yeah.
and Twitter at Nondescript Video
Remember
Club.
to subscribe and like to this
YouTube.
channel.
Yeah, if you made it to the
Nondescript
end
Video
of the
Club.
podcast, please like
And
and
this is
subscribe.
gonna be
We
a
really
long one.
appreciate it. It's totally free, and if you watch She-Borg and you really like it, you decide we're hacks,
Then
then
fuck you. Stop
guess
watching
what?
our channel.
Unsubscribing's free too. So thank you very much for watching. Plato's fake reality next week. Early apologies to Mackenzie Davis for
You haven't seen it yet. It could be good.
Right. Could be good.
Sure.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Bye.
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 Yep.
What a nice short podcast.
Wow, that's gonna be a long one.
It's crazy how